Recording from St. Louis, Missouri, you're listening to the Slap Save Pinball Podcast with your hosts, Jason Fowler and Matt Koenen.
Welcome to the Slap Save Pinball Podcast. This is episode number 31. Today's date is July 7th, 2019. I am your host, Jason Fowler. I have some good news and some bad news. The bad news is Matt is out of town, so he won't be with us this episode. But the good news is one of my favorite people in pinball is joining us, and we're going to have a slightly longer episode because of that. And he has supported Slap Save since the very beginning. Actually, before we started, he was supporting the idea of all of this. He's a good friend. He wears a ton of hats, including but not limited to a distributor of the Flippin' Out Pinball, a co-host of Straight Down the Middle, the YouTube show, a host of This Week in Pinball podcast. Zach Midas Meny is with us. Zach, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on. It's sad that Koenen's not here, but to hell with him. I'm here. That's all.
He's down in Oklahoma City on some buddy trip, bro trip or something. I don't know.
Who bro trips to OKC?
I think you might be confused. Oklahoma City is a great town. I'm not knocking anyone that lives there, but it's not something that you generally take a vacation to, I think. And St. Louis is the same on the other side, so I know the feeling.
They don't have Kevin Durant anymore, so what's the purpose, right?
That's true. Yeah. So thanks a lot, Zach, for filling in. I really appreciate it. Nobody wants to hear me run this thing solo. So.
I like that you said he's one of my favorite people in pinball. What,
yeah.
Really?
I tend to stroke the ego of the people that are here. Well, pinball and otherwise.
One of your favorite people, I would think.
Yeah, well, definitely. You're definitely top 30.
I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding.
You know what? With the reception that I get sometimes when I walk into a pinball room, I will take top 30, my friend.
I'm just kidding. So our episode summary briefly is we're going to have a discussion of what we've been up to. We're going to have some industry happenings. Not a lot, but a few. Okay. We have a segment called Getting to Know You, which is going to be a deep dive into the enigma that is Midas Meny.
Whoa.
Our main feature is going to be why I canceled Willy Wonka. And we're also going to do Name That Pin with Zach. And there might be a surprise segment somewhere in here if we can work it in, Zach.
Let's do it. Yeah, this is like one of my first click podcasts. Whenever you guys, a Slap Save comes up, boom, I'm already playing it. I don't care if I'm on the crapper. I don't care if I'm at work. I'm playing it. Being able to listen and to talk on this, the best of both worlds. Thanks.
It's an honor. Thanks. That's a compliment. I'm wondering, because you told me you don't drink a lot, but you must be under some sort of intoxication if this is the one of the first ones you picked.
I'm high on the CBD. The CBD oil.
So what is new with you? What are you up to? What pins are you playing and enjoying?
Oh, let's see. What's new with me? I just got back from vacation.
I know. Yeah.
No pinball playing in over a week. Hot as hell Disney and the beach with the family. One of the best trips I've ever had. So that was fantastic.
Let me ask you, did you miss pinball, or was it good to get away for a little bit?
You know what? This is total transparency here. I worked pretty much the entire time doing distribution in my private practice in psychology while I was on vacation, kind of here and there. Definitely less than what I usually do, but it was still there. And because I'm doing distribution, I'm doing the different shows and the stream channel, I didn't miss it at all. It's sad, but when I did get home, I played Pirates. That was the first game I went to.
Nice.
And I stayed on it for about an hour. And
was that one game?
It was a lot of restarts after that nasty ball 1 and ball 2. I'm that guy. But no, blew it up, and I was like, yep, I'm glad I'm back.
Have you ever noticed, though, if you kind of hunker down and finish that third ball, sometimes that's like it makes up for it?
Yeah, but it feels tainted. I'm a hobbyist. I'm a wizard mode chaser. So if I'm by ball 2, if I'm not to where I need to be on the path, forget it. I'm done.
I used to do that, and I made it a resolution to try to stop, but I'm not always successful at it. I feel the same. I'm
horrible at it. I'm horrible at it. No, that was about it. I'm fresh from vacation and sweating my arse off. Have you ever been to Disney? You done the Disney thing there, Fowler?
Yeah, one time. Yeah.
Ooh, boy, oh boy, 110 and Concrete Island, Orlando. That was hell, man. I was like a faucet from the top of my head, just drenched, burnt. And then my son, here's a short story here. My son has no concept of money. He's almost 14, and it's my fault, but no concept of money. Every time we go out to eat, because we go out to eat every evening as a family, every time we go out to eat, the kid likes steak. That's fine, dude, but maybe a sirloin, son of a biscuit. Filet? He goes filet every time. And every time he does it, Jason, my wife and I just kind of look up at each other and we're like, son of a bitch, man. Like, not going to, I can't say anything to my growing teenage son.
Sure
like,
you can. You're a psychologist. No is one of the most powerful words in the English language.
I will not deprive my child of food they enjoy. That's one thing.
Oh, come on. He's not suffering. The kid's got like an arcade at his house because of his dad's pinball problem. He's not suffering.
But he looks up and he tells her, he's like, yeah, I'd like the 8-ounce filet. And I'm going to be like, you don't know taste. Just get the 12-ounce sirloin. It's cheaper. It's more.
No, we go to the place and like, do you need a kids menu? No, he's going to have my extra saltines. Thanks.
We're on the beach. We're at a beach restaurant. None of these steaks are going to be good, Dominic. Don't order the filet.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's like shoe leather.
But one of the, not to get too sentimental here, but one of the greatest moments of my entire life happened on the vacation.
Really?
So it probably not appropriate for pinball. It's kind of silly, but we were at the end of the night at Magic Kingdom. You have the big light show at the castle, and you guys know listeners know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
You got the fireworks going off, and it was a 4th of July weekend, and I was sweating, but the 10 minutes of that show and me holding both of my daughters in my arms and my muscle, my core shaking, sweating, but they couldn't see otherwise, and being able to hold them up there and seeing the smiles on their faces, man, it brought a tear to my eye. So
yep. No, that's cool. It is something that they will always remember when they're our age and they're looking back. They will remember that trip.
I wasn't going to let them down. So
yeah, very cool. That's a hard act to follow. But as far as what's new with me, I went to CP Pinball here on the other side of town yesterday.
Love that place.
It's a great place. Chuck runs it over there. I took my wife and son, Cindy and Colin, because we had to go to a niece's house to move a gun safe for her husband. You know, I love the Escalera, but it's kind of like when you buy a truck. Mm-hmm. You become a marked man in demand.
Oh, absolutely.
For, your tool. And I agreed to help him. I took it over there. We got the safe done without anyone getting maimed or injured. But when we got done...
That's a feat in itself right there.
It is. When we got done, CP's was real close. And I'm like, we're going to dinner and we're going to go to CP's. And we went there. And while we were playing, there's a huge screen that they just mounted, 55-inch at least,
cool.
Probably 60. And on there, they were playing the flipping out stream of Wonka with Ken and Bill from Special One Lit. Yeah. I just thought, how cool is that? I actually snapped a photo and sent it to Ken and Bill, and it was cool. You know, it's like you see that this work that you're doing, that you guys are doing, is paying off. So
that's really nice. I love Chuck up there. He is a pretty cool, eclectic setup.
He is a character. Yep,
yeah,
he does.
Absolutely.
He has, there's 3 outbuildings with probably, I'd have to say, 50 games or so. If you ever make it to St. Louis, it's a destination thing. It's something
very
that's
unassuming.
worthwhile.
It's like an industrial park or something. It's kind of a shady area, isn't it?
It's not a bad area, but it just looks a little rough because it's right across the street from a refinery. So
I picked up a game there late at night once, and I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's safe. Now, if you go a little south of there, you're in kind of East St. Louis. You want to avoid that, just like Clark found out in Vacation. You don't want to go through there. So anyway, I purchased a huge number of pin stadiums. I had a couple, and I added them to some games that I wanted to. You ask what came first, the chicken or the egg. Well, I purchased this huge group of pin stadiums or was in the process of. And during that and the conversation I had with Scott, he agreed to start helping out with the show a little bit. So
cool.
I want to say thank you for that. That really helped, and I'm really enjoying those. So if it's something you haven't checked out, I know some of you are skeptical out there. I was too at the beginning, but it is worthwhile, whether you stream or not.
Don't be a Penn Stady hater.
Yeah, it's worth it. I'm telling you, I love them. So I also had one of the best pinball buying experiences that I've ever had. In Ohio. I contacted a guy that had an AC/DC premium for sale who goes by Hoagie on Pennside. It was on behalf of his friend Scott, actually, and I drove up there. I got a a speeding ticket from an Ohio.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was awful. I was like, I'm like in good shape on this pen as far as money goes, and then bang, $200 later, I got that. So, yeah, he was a highway patrolman. He was doing his job. I can't fault him. I was speeding, so that's how it goes. Anyway, so he was selling it for his friend. It was great buy, great price, like new. Both guys were just two of the nicest guys I've met in the hobby. He offered me a room to stay in his house so I didn't have to drive back over the night. I felt very comfortable after hanging out with him for a while and talking with him.
Well, he was doing good then, luring you in, feeling comfortable.
Yeah. Now, we grabbed dinner and some beers, and we played and talked pinball in his home arcade, which is just beautiful, super late. But then I couldn't sleep, and I left at 1:30 in the morning and drove all night. And he called me the next day. He was like, hey, what time did you get up? And I was like, I left in the middle of the night, man. And he started laughing. The
middle of the night walk of shame.
Yeah. It was a pinball-related walk of shame. It wasn't anything beyond
You're as
that.
bad as my daughter when she goes over to somebody's house and calls me at 2 a.m.
I want to go home.
I just want to go home. My belly hurts. That's you. My pinball belly hurts.
I am. Yeah, I wanted to get back on the road because I knew the next day I had a long drive. So that's what I ended up doing.
Did you stop at a Waffle Hut?
I did not.
Now, Fowler, your blood glucose,
Yeah, that's exactly why I didn't. No, I can't do that stuff. Yeah, other than that, though, not too much new with me. Industry happenings, though. Not a whole lot going on last week. There is a Pinball Day petition that is circling around. I'm going to try to remember to put the link in the show notes for you guys. I want the day off work for this Pinball Day petition. Make it a federal holiday at least. Yeah, shut it down.
Why August 1st? Is that something that's affiliated with Roger Sharp, right? The shot
was that
to save
the
pinball?
The date it was made?
I think there was a... I think there was a date of association or something. Why
Remember
it's August
Ken
1st?
and Bill had that in their score reel on their T-shirt? They had that date. We'll have to check that, but I'm pretty sure it's not August 1st. I think it's probably just a random date.
I wonder who started this.
I have no idea. I'm not sure, but I think it's a good idea.
You think? Why is it a good idea? Me and Dennis Kriesel from the Eclectic Gamers podcast were talking on This Week in Pinball podcast about this, and he was like, I haven't signed. I feel known. You know how Dennis is. He made a good point. Why does this even make sense?
Well, it doesn't. There's no benefit other than I think the recognition it gives the hobby. If somebody sees, pinball, yeah, I remember that, and they buy a game and they become part of the hobby, great. I think it's perfect. I mean, God, potatoes have a national day now. Everything does.
That's true. I think it's only acceptable if, like you said, all of us agree that we have to take a vacation day on August 1st and do something special.
Yeah, and you have to go to work with a flipper hanging out of your zipper or something. It's got to be some sort of flipper? No, at least 3. Maybe a Hercules one. Yeah.
A Flintstones club.
All right, next up, we are going to do Getting to Know You, the Zach Meny edition. So I'm going to ask Zach some questions. They may be pinball related. They may not.
I don't know what the question is, but the answer is 6.5 inches.
Yeah. The first question, what was the trigger that sparked your dive into the hobby?
Ooh,
everybody had one. What was yours?
Everybody loves hearing these origin stories, let me tell you.
No, it is if you make it interesting.
Well, I always make it interesting. The trigger for me was I was on a work conference, right? Nothing more boring than a work conference. It was in Louisville. Went to Zanzibar because I heard it was a local dive where the food was good. And I walked in and I saw a row of pins. As many of you listeners know, if you've been to the Louisville metro area, Zanzibar, owner Ants and his brother have a fantastic establishment there. And he has all the newest stuff. And not only the newest, but he puts the LEs, the super LE stuff in. He puts them on location there for you. So I walked in and the food was great. But I saw Jersey Jack's Wizard of Oz. And I thought, well, this can't be old. I thought pinball was old. So I went up to it, and it's got the big 20, that was probably the 26-inch screen, nerd. But 27-inch now. The initial ones had 26. But so I saw that, and I thought, holy crap, this would look great in my den or in a game room. And I came back home and looked at the price of it, and I was like, no, it won't. That won't look great at all. So these idiots spend $5,000, $10,000 on a pinball machine. They're crazy, freaking nerds. And I found a Jurassic Park pinball machine. That was my first game. I bought that from a local operator who screwed me on it. But I deserved it because I was a new guy. That's what happens, hazing. And bought it, and it broke a lot. So as a daddy, so I had to fix it a lot, and clown puked the GI because I thought that was cool at the time, and added mods that no one should ever add on any game, and thought it was the coolest thing in the world. Got to the wizard mode, sold it, and upgraded to another game. And from then on, man, I was there for a while. I was flipping pins a bit. It wasn't listening to Koenen last week on his hate for flippers and those finding monetary gain and things. I was wanting to slap him, but yeah, that was me. That was me, Koenen. How about that? I hope I sold you a game. I did. Wait a minute. I did buy a game from Koenen, and I sold him a game.
Well, I was going to ask what your first game was, and you answered that, and that it was Jurassic Park. Would you own it again?
Absolutely. That is a solid, fun game. The mechs are really fun. The code is really fun, especially with that Chad 6.0 ROM update. Yeah, I think it's really cool. It looks I'm a little weird OCD-wise as a collector. I like things to line up and look good, so the head's a little weird because it's big. Yeah, I think it's one of the best data use out there.
Yeah, I think a lot of us have nostalgia for our first pen, and we always hold it in a little bit higher regard than maybe we would otherwise. I know I certainly do that with Getaway. I don't have it, but I would certainly own another one for sure. Yeah. So next question. You can only own 3 pinball machines that you don't own now. That's the caveat. You don't own them now. Name them.
Right now, Alice Cooper's hot for me. I'd have to pick up Alice Cooper because it does give me that challenging gameplay as well as deep code. So I'd go Alice Cooper. I've been wanting a Circus Voltaire again for a long time. So I would go Circus Voltaire just for the artwork and the gameplay.
It's an art piece. I agree.
Oh, shoots like a dream. And you can have fun throwing chrome and mods and stuff into that.
Yeah.
And then the third, geez, man, that's rough. Maybe Hobbit? No.
Those are all good. You got like a new one, a little bit older one, and another like fancier one. So yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Solid. So in your opinion, the worst part of pinball is?
Oh, worst part. The media. No, I'm joking.
Touche.
I think the worst part of pinball for me is that the masses don't know of pinball. So it's maybe the worst part is that people don't know about pinball. Very a meta response there.
No, I see what you're saying.
What I mean by it is like pinball kind of gets in its own way. There's a lot of barriers, the cost, the availability, the repair. There's so much going against pinball that I always feel bad for people that are into hobbies, whether it be golf or collecting trains or whatever it is, right? Yep. Because pinball is so engaging, and I could argue so much more engaging than most other sports, than most other collectibles, most other hobbies, industries, engineering. There's so much that goes into it that I feel bad for people that don't get it or that think that they're just antiques.
That's a better answer than I even expected. I think, the reach of pinball is hampered by its own way.
I don't know if we can defeat it, but I know guys and gals out there who are like-minded and they don't know about pinball. These people would freaking love it so much. You're playing board games, you're playing darts, like you would love this stuff. But they don't know about it.
And I think everything that you stated is a big reason on why that's the case. And all of us, if you're listening to this, whether you like it or not, or whether you admit it or not, you're an ambassador for the hobby. Because you love it and you have passion about it, you can spread that. And you can spread that through talking about it. You can spread it through being accepting of people who may not be able to afford the kind of machine that you would want to buy for your own home, or maybe they are only doing the video game pinball. You know, that's how a lot of people get into this.
Hold up. You were doing so well there. The speech, I had a tear in my eye. You gave me the shivers in the back of my neck. And then you talked about video game pinball.
Well, so here to me, it's a gateway drug. It is what it is. And once you go, the real thing, I don't think you have any reason to go back. But I believe it's a great gateway for people to know that pinball can be a lot of fun. And I know it worked for me. I don't play it now because I have a collection, but I think it's something that, don't poo-poo it. Because that's exactly what like people that are like,
I'll those guys. I think it sucks. And
all right. Well, Moving on to what's the best part of pinball? You almost said that already in that answer, but let's come up with another one. What do you think is the best
part?
thing?
I would have to say, objectively, if we were measuring it, the best part is the friends that I've made and the acquaintances and the opportunities that have come up because of the silly industry and hobby. I have more friends in pinball than I do outside of pinball. Judge me if you want, bro. I don't care.
Nah, I'm the same way.
That's true.
Pinball can get really dull really quickly if you just look at it as a bunch of machines sitting in your basement and you're just playing them by yourself. But if you parlay that into gatherings at your house and sharing your passion of the hobby with other people and other friends and making friends because of it, and it's impossible not to in this hobby. It's just loaded with really, really cool people.
It's the hokey answer, but that's why I do what I do, man. So I'm a distributor, a podcast host, a YouTube host, because I want to spread everything that I know is great about pinball. I want everybody to be able to get it, and I feel like I can interact with people. I can make friends over the comment section or phone calls because I'm a distributor, whereas, I'm not going to go down to the local grocery store or the bar and spark up conversation with Charlie behind the bar. It's just not what I do.
Yeah, comment section are good for making friends and also occasionally mortal enemies. That's the way it works.
Yeah, I get crapped on all the time, but I welcome it. Hey, Jason, before we move on, I want to do something. Can I do a segment here on Slap Safe?
You know what? Let's do a Chinese fire drill. I'll let you take the steering wheel. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Many of you have heard, if you guys listen to This Week in Pinball podcast, people love the pinball market trends. Am I right, Fowler?
I know the Dennis loves the market trends. That's
Dennis loves
his favorite part. He actually sent me an email saying, please have Zach do a market trends. Yep.
Yeah, for the listeners who are not familiar, we do a pinball market trends. We talk about the ups, the rises, or the falls in secondary market pricing or availability, popularity, etc. But we came out with a sub segment within that segment called Pinball Media Market Trends. And let's just say the response wasn't always positive. Jeff and I had a discussion. He runs the podcast, and he said, maybe we should get rid of that. But here's the thing, Fowler. Jeff got no control over me over here.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I think I want to do a Pinball Media Market Trends right here on Slap Safe Pinball Podcast. What do you think?
I think it's going to be a bull in a china shop, and I'm anxious to see it. I don't want to clean it up, but I'll listen.
You may
I'm looking
have
forward to it.
No, we'll keep it nice. Trending up this week in pinball media, I'm going to have to give a shout out to Loser Kid Pinball Podcast. This guy just recently interviewed Keith Elwin, and boy, oh boy, he got some juicy stuff. Really nice formatting, editing was superb, spot on. So trending up in pinball media is definitely Loser Kid Pinball Podcast. Also trending up the Head to Head Pinball Podcast. I did trend them down a couple weeks ago, and people did not like that, including Marty, the host himself. Not so sure he was a big fan of that move. You recently interviewed Gary Stern, the freaking Gary Stern. Not only did you do that, you conducted it solo and you nailed it, man. We got a lot of information from Gary Stern, the CEO of Stern Pinball, the largest manufacturer of pinball machines.
That was really good.
Oh, it was wonderful. But unfortunately, Pinball Media Market Trends trending down this week. Oh, there's where people don't like it. They might like this. Trending down is straight down the middle of pinball show.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Shots fired, right?
What happened?
So these guys, I don't know where their episodes are at. Now, I've got onto other podcasts and other media for not being consistent, and here they are. Me and Greg Bone having a YouTube show saying that we're going to have a video every single week. No, it's kind of flying under the radar. Season 3 has been huge for us. The numbers have been bigger than ever. The subscribers, well over 4,000. We're hitting on all cylinders. But where are the episodes, guys? I'm talking to myself in the mirror right now. No, it's kind of fizzled out. I don't know what in the hell's going on. Everybody's busy. Greg's a realtor and a movie star now, and I'm a distributor. Who knows? We'll get back in it. But I've got to call myself out, Fowler, because, the inconsistency is not what people signed up for.
Well,
so
you've got more irons in the fire of anyone I know in this hobby. And I don't know how you keep up with it all. So if something has to suffer a little bit, that's completely understandable.
Yeah. Well, that, and I'll just blame it on Greg.
Yeah. It's always his fault.
Now it's your Pinball Media Market Trends. Thanks for tuning in. And maybe in the future you'll get me again for Pinball Media Market Trends where I pull no punches. I'll let you know what's rising and falling in pinball media. And if you're falling, guess what? Up your game, bro. Put a little more in it. That's all I'm saying. I know I'm going to.
All right. Love it. So next up, we're going to do our main topic, and that is why I canceled Willy Wonka. I'm sure.
Why I canceled Willy Wonka. This sounds great. What a segment.
I knew Zach was going to have something to say about this because I know he likes his JJPs, and he obviously is a distributor. So he probably has an alternate viewpoint, and we are going to talk about those. So yeah. God. I'll start things off. I just want to say this is my opinion, and I'm basing it on multiple factors. There's not one particular thing that happened that made me lead to this decision, but buy it. If you love it, buy it. I encourage it. In fact, invite me to come over and play it. I want to, right? I think
where should they buy it from?
They should buy it from some guy named Zach. I'll have to leave it in the show notes. I don't know a lot about him. So,
okay, fair enough.
It shoots really well. It is one of the best shooting games that are out there of any era. I would be willing to say that.
Oh,
I really think
strong
that.
Take.
I think Dialed In is up there, and I think this is as well. But I can't spend my hard-earned money on Wonka right now, and I won't. The issue is multiple things, but my budget for pens is finite, like most of us, right? Like we all have an amount that we're willing to spend on pens and our collection and whatever. And $9,500 for an LE is something that has to be a measured decision. I mean, it's been several years ago, but I bought a new Ducati for that kind of money. And
which one's more fun?
The motorcycle, but it's less safe. That's why I play pinball.
Pinball's not going to kill you.
No. Well, it could. I have high voltage.
If you're licking fuses.
Yeah. And I may change my mind, but I won't be an early adopter. Now, why? Okay, well, I'm going to run through that. So first of all, I usually, when I buy a new inbox pen, I am so excited and so smitten with it that it's not a doubt for me. After I saw it, and I like the shots, I've said that, but I'm not crazy about the game like I should be for what it costs. And some of that's the theme implementation. It's been talked about. There's a lack of assets. The narrator and the sounds are hard to ignore. They are grating at best and not good at worst. I'm not a fan of that. There's a lack of cohesion with the theme implementation, in my opinion, and that's something that could be worked out, I think, a little bit with as code updates come down the pipeline. But that's issue number one.
I counted 3 there.
Well, it's all the theme implementation for the most part.
Okay.
So I'm concerned with JJP's quality track record at first, right? So I've had issues with pretty much every single JJP game that I've gotten. And I think early on, especially when they're getting kinks worked out of things, that is something that scares me off a little bit. In fact, it scared me off of Pirates. I think it's a great game that for that kind of money, I want to know that what I'm getting is going to function the way it should. Now, they pride themselves in their quality. God, you can't find a cabinet that's more robust than a JJP.
Like a tank.
Yeah, it is. But there's some of the smaller things that need to get worked out, and it's like that on every single game. It's just the way it is. So it's not a compelling case to me to be one of the first right out of the gate. Next is art. And art is always going to be something that some people love and some people don't care for. It's not that I hate the art. It's just not grabbing me like some games usually do. Now, John Usey is super talented, and I usually like his stuff. I really do. But there's something I can't put my finger on that I'm not crazy about in this art, and it's a little bit disjointed. It's a little bit just bland compared to what we're seeing from some other people. Like, I'm spoiled by Franchi. I know he parted ways with the show, but I still think he has set the bar for that type of art.
That's a good point.
And I'm spoiled a little bit by it. So lastly, I'm going to get into the most controversial of all of these.
Jeez.
And that is how the release was handled. And I know you probably knew that's where I was headed with this. But like I said, one of these in themselves is not a reason for me to cancel the game. But you can debate my legitimacy, our legitimacy as pinball media here at SlapSafe. Like, we are kind of a variety show. We've got some info, some entertainment. I'm not cutting edge news, but there is one outlet. There is one franchise in pinball that is the closest thing we have to a legitimate news source. And Zach, I want to thank you as being part of this, but it's Jeff at This Week in Pinball. And your coverage that you do on the podcast is part of that. So my respect for both you and Jeff, it makes me pause at what transpired. And the problem is when you're provided with false info, it hurts everybody, right? It hurts Jeff because without credibility, all he becomes is another Pensider yelling from the rafters, right? So he loses his credibility. And in turn, so do you. You know, that's strike one, right? So I consider him a friend that was manipulated a little bit. That's strike one. So more importantly, his importance to this hobby is something that I feel like he was sort of used as a tool to facilitate a launch that Jack wanted to have. But unfortunately, it was kind of done at the detriment of TWIP. And I rely on him and his credibility that I think suffered from this.
Do you think it was Jack's intention to do that?
I don't know what Jack's intention was. I will tell you this. I have a ton of respect for Jack. The problem with Jack is he's a victim of his own enthusiasm. That's the best way I can put it. He misses release dates. He has release dates that he never hits. And that's just simply because he either has loose lips and titles get leaked, or he just is so excited that he has to announce it at a time that he shouldn't.
We see that all the time with manufacturers, especially the newer manufacturers. Yeah.
But I think Jack has like a genuine enthusiasm and a genuine love of the hobby that it would be like me trying to keep something under wraps. And I know, I understand that it's difficult. And I understand why he did that or how it happened. The problem is, you know, he got it right this time, kind of, right? It wasn't as soon as he thought it was. Well, he said back when it was announced at, where was that? Milwaukee? Well, it wasn't announced there, but he said it was going to be on the line in 2 weeks. So it wasn't, and we knew it wasn't going to be. So what he wanted to do was get it out there quickly and kind of by surprise. So we're like, people didn't know it's coming, right? But the problem was he used Jeff kind of to facilitate that and to fit his agenda. Telling
Jeff that the standards were not on the line.
Correct.
Where in actuality, they were on the line, yes.
Correct. And that's the thing is like, Jack, that's fine. Just go to Jeff and say, look, no comment. I have no comment on whether or not it's on the line. Or just say, I don't want to discuss that. Or say, hey, it's under the radar. It is, but please don't say anything. Don't even bring this up.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah, don't bring this up because I don't want it to affect my ability to surprise buyers and make them excited, right? But the bottom line is, whether it was a misunderstanding, the way Jack is trying to frame it, or it was something that was done intentionally, which I honestly, if you look at what happened, and if you ask someone blatantly, is it on the line, and they say no, I think that's more than a misunderstanding. It's just mistruth. It's mistruth. Yes. Yes. So all reasons why I think this hurts us as hobbyists because Jeff is important and This Week in Pinball and their legitimacy as a news source can't be understated. I know it's been, this is an overreaction. Why are you going to cancel a pin because of something so small? Well, what you have there is a perspective issue because as a podcaster, Zach and I and Jeff and Dennis and Ken and everybody, the guys up east, everybody knows and how we throw ourselves at this hobby and we give it everything we have. And these trivial things that some of you brush off, we agonize over them. These decisions and actions undermine that in a way. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. I might not
because
agree,
my
but I know
perspective, because my perspective is that of a podcaster and also a friend of Jeff's and someone who respects him. I don't feel like that was fair and a right way to do that. So, you know, you may love everything about the game. You may have been fortunate enough to like hear a click every time you've played Russian roulette as an early adopter of JJP games. And you may not give two that Jeff was manipulated. If so, buy it. That's fine. I'll be the first one to congratulate any of you that buy it. I'll be the first one to want to play it, but not me. Just not yet. Not yet.
Wow. Any other reasons?
I'm coming up for air. That ran on a little longer than I wanted to, but you have a rebuttal or
the hell yeah, I have a rebuttal.
Okay, I'm all ears.
You said I'm not that perspective. The person who can kind of, in other words, turn your back on your friends when they're working that hard and they get slighted and all that.
No. I'm not saying that you are that way. I'm saying
perspective. Like
my perspective is the issue.
Yeah. You're not, you said I'm not that perspective, or I'm not that type, I would say that it hurts me when people do wrong to my friends. It hurts me when people do wrong to the industry that I love and am passionate about. But we're talking Willy Wonka here. We're talking something that I've looked forward to ever since I've been into pinball. We're talking Pat Lawler, who's one of the greatest pinball designers of all time. We're talking Jersey Jack pinball machine that are arguably, with the 5 titles I have, in the greatest of all times, all 5 of them. We're talking artwork that is beautiful. You use the word bland for artwork. Maybe just colorblind is what you are, because bland is not how I would address the playfield or the cabinet. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. The mirroring on the collector's edition is unlike anything we've ever seen. The composition on the playfield of where Willy Wonka is standing full figured with Charlie buckets at the drain there with the candy surrounding him, gorgeous. I think that people think the art is not good because over time a couple of the louder mouths said it wasn't good. So people just say, okay, it's not good. No, it's beautiful. It's great.
Can I interject
artwork.
just for a second, though?
Whenever you want.
I think the art is good. My point is, it is not up to the standards of what is coming out now, in my opinion. Like I said, I can't even put my finger on what it is. Is it to the standards
of Black Knight Sword of Rage?
I love Black Knight. Honestly, I find the art on Black Knight slightly better. Yeah. I may be crazy. I think it depends on what your love of as far as theme goes. And
exactly.
Yeah, it's all subjective. I don't doubt that a bit. Like I said, what I may not be crazy about with art, someone else might.
You talked about lack of theme integration.
Yes.
I've got a 27-inch monitor that's displaying clips of the movie, some of our favorite clips of the film. I've got call-outs in this game so plentiful that anything that you remember from Willy Wonka that you love, schnozberries, boom, it's in there. No, stop, come back. It's in there.
Some of those clips don't have sound.
The call-outs are in there. The clips are in there.
Well, a screen doesn't make good theme integration, in my opinion.
The video clips are in there.
Anybody can throw a screen in the back of a back glass.
Give me that over a DMD any day.
Yeah, I agree. I'd much rather have that than a DMD. But
now, are the assets aligned perfectly like every single person would like? No. Name a pin where they are. I'm not sure there is one. The sounds, it sounds like a slot. No, it doesn't sound like a slot machine. It sounds like freaking Willy Wonka's chocolate factory and all the inventions that go on in there, and the horns and the honks and the bubbles. And yeah, it's magical. That's what you get. Can it be cleaned up? Sure. What game can't? The quality issue, I will say that of the ones that we've shipped out, the issues that we're seeing are substantially better than previous Jersey Jack games. So far, one of the vertical upkick coils needed to be pushed up 1 or 2 degrees. Not a big deal.
Question for you, Zach, real quick. So I'm glad to hear that. I really am, because I'm rooting for that. I'm rooting for JJP having that stuff done. But which of Jersey Jack pinball machines do you feel mechanically is the simplest? Would you say that this is either number 1 or number 2?
Mechanically the simplest. That's like going to a car show and showing the top 10 cars in the entire show and saying, which one is the simplest? Well, none. That's why they're all finalists. I think Willy Wonka may be, if you lift that thing up, it's more complex than anything in 2019 from other manufacturers. Likely.
I'm just used to the bar that they set. The problem is JJP has set their own bar. Yeah, like Wizard of Oz, even Hobbit. I know some people hate that, but Dialed In, Pirates, they're all just, they've got a lot going on. They've got this magic, this complication that I love. And I feel like this game is a little simpler. Now, that's not necessarily a problem. In fact, I think that might be why you may see less mechanical issues.
The gobstopper mech is great. That is a great mechanism. It's a spinning gobstopper that's lit by a spotlight that has a platform underneath that's never been done before, circling open to a scoop with a physical kinetic satisfaction shot that you get in that hit to the gobstopper. Every time you hit it, it spins faster. That's not simple to me.
Right.
The larger than life display on the playfield in the back and Wonka vision, that's not simple. Cameras that take your pictures, you're hitting combo shots to display them on the Wonka vision as a gumball. Nothing there is simple. 7 different individual magnets under the playfield, all firing at times. LED uses that they haven't used in pinball before. None of that being simple. Diverter off the left ramp. I could keep going.
Right.
Simple isn't it. Does it have a spinning house? No. Does it have an upper playfield? It doesn't. Does it have a rocking boat? It doesn't. Just shoot a cannon? No, it doesn't do any of that. Is it easier on location? They dropped it $1,000 to try to get it on there. I think Pat Lawler's aim is to do that. But
I see your point.
So it goes with every pinball machine, Fowler. I mean, you get a pinball machine like Pirates and everybody, the damn thing doesn't work half the time because it's loaded down. And then they simplify it just a little bit. Oh, it works great, but yeah, where in the hell am I making? Oh, God, people, the sounds. I just get tired of the complaint. This is freaking Willy Wonka. It's 2019. It's a dream theme for many people. The code is there. The rules are there. The art's there. The layout's there. We're nitpicking, in my opinion.
Well, it's all opinions, and it's just mine. But you say the code is there. The code is, in my opinion, is not there. It's not there yet. And it's coming. It's coming.
It's there.
Like I said, do you consider the theme integration through the code to be complete? Do you think they're done?
I think the structure of that code is exactly what it needs to be when it comes to Willy Wonka.
The skeleton is there.
You start a Wonka Vader multi-ball. You're touring the factory just as
Zach,
you do
the bottom line, like the code is part of that, like what I was talking about with video. Like if you have video assets that have no sound. I mean, that whether that's a licensing issue or not, the thing that made Woz great, the thing that made Hobbit great, that will never leave my house, is not the way it shoots.
Yeah, but
it is
Fowler,
the fact that you get sucked into that theme, and that's because Jack worked his ass off to make sure that he paid for and got on a long-term contract the full assets for Wizard of Oz. That's why that game is great. The same thing with The Hobbit. The problem with Willy Wonka, and maybe it's monetary reasons, I don't know. All I'm doing is reporting why I'm going to buy it or I'm not going to buy it right now, and that is there is assets that, in my opinion, need to be there that are not.
Yeah, but you're arguing some of the greatest integrated pinball machines of all times. Like,
right.
What about,
they set their own bar, buddy. They did. It's them. It's their fault.
Why would we not complain about the integration of, Simpsons Pinball Party, or the integration of Scared Stiff, or the integration
because you can buy a Simpsons Pinball Party for $4,500, and it's an older game and things have changed. It's the same way. I love my Fathom, but to say it has theme integration like my Woz, it's apples to oranges. It's two separate things. The problem is you have a game that was released 5 years after Wizard of Oz, more than that, by the same company with the same ideals and the same intentions. Supposedly, it's not as magical. It's not as complete.
So why didn't we talk about theme integration when we were talking about Iron Maiden?
Oh, well, like, what do you think it's lacking as far as theme integration goes?
Which one's better integrated, Iron Maiden and why?
Honestly, right now, Iron Maiden.
Why?
Well, you may not like the music. A lot of people don't. But
music is an integration. I mean, so you get songs. Okay,
let me give you an example. Let's say Iron Maiden had 6 clips of Eddie, but they couldn't use his voice, or they couldn't play particular songs that Iron Maiden's greatest hits, whether you laugh at that or not. But let's say that they couldn't use those, that they only got B-list songs from, and they couldn't play the song for more than 10 seconds.
But that's not the case with Wonka, Fowler.
You've got clips without sound, Zach.
Okay, you got clips without sound, but all the audio is there. All the audio is there.
The little chubby chick isn't even singing. You can't hear. You
don't have Violet Beauregard playing. You don't have Veruca Salt singing "I Want It Now." Okay, you don't have that.
I don't know. To me, it feels like such an opportunity that was. The race car ran out of gas right before it crossed the finish line, and I'm hoping that they will have some members from the pit crew jump out there and push this son of a across the line, and I'll buy it. I'll buy it.
Last point is because I keep hearing this code's not there. It's bugging me. It's so bugging me because I think it's easy to say, but not easy to back up. when it comes to code, when we talk about pinball code, Fowler, we talk about the rules, right? The balance. We talk about all of that.
The polish.
Exactly. What's not there? Okay, if Willy Wonka's mouth isn't moving to the quotes, okay. If that's all the basis of what code is in pinball and whether it's done or not, fine. I'll give that to you. But if we're talking about what are the tasks that we need to do? Are there different pathways to get to the wizard mode? Are there many wizard modes? Are there multi-balls? Everything is loaded on this game. There are at least 4 or 5 different paths that I start out when I start playing this game every time. I get to choose. It's not a linear rule set. I'm trying to get 5 golden tickets to get to pure imagination wizard mode, and along the journey, I'll meet many wizard modes. I'll meet different modes. Whether it's Charlie Bucket's fizzy lifting drink mode, the golden egg room mode, touring the factory mode. I'll get through kid multi-ball where I'm trying to strategically, do I play risk reward? Do I get 2 kids and then open up that multi-ball? Or do I try to get all 5 kids? I'm collecting a Wonka bars that are going to get me dude.
Yeah. And you make a compelling argument.
Killer.
I completely understand where you're coming from, and I completely understand your passion for the theme. I just think it could be better. And that is only by their own standards.
I agree.
That is only by their own standards that they have set with their own machines. So you have an advantage because I think you've had a lot of home time with it, and maybe that's what it takes. Maybe that's what I need.
No, I think you're right. I'm just offering a counterpoint here because I think this will happily be one of people's happiest purchases, if not on location for purchases. But do this for me really quick. Here's the entire point that I'm trying to make.
Sure.
Name me any, I don't care how great it is, name me any pinball machine, and I'm going to find a bigger setback than Wonka has in its game. Go ahead. Any pinball machine.
Name any pinball machine.
Any pinball machine you think is great.
Let's go with Wizard of Oz.
When it comes to Wizard of Oz, I can tell you without a doubt that Wizard of Oz has more setbacks, more downsides to it than Wonka will in spades. It's hard to believe, right? But it's not. That's why I hate us focusing on the negativity of Willy Wonka, because we're nitpicking. When it comes to Willy Wonka, which one's funner to shoot?
But Zach, the thing is,
don't butt, Fowler. Which one's funner to shoot?
Probably Wonka.
Fowler. Probably Wonka.
It's a great shooting game. I don't doubt that. But I'm looking for a complete package. $9,500. $9,500. I'm supposed to nitpick, Zach. Everybody should.
And that's fine. Are you shooting a pinball machine, or are you making sure their lips follow the words? Which one?
Theme is an important part of that package and how it's implemented. Shooting is the most important thing. It always will be. And that's why it'll always have a leg up. It'll always have a leg up.
Worse. What I'm saying is there are a hell of a lot more reasons not to buy a Woz than there are than a Wonka.
Yeah, it depends on what's in your wheelhouse. Like, I think it shoots fine. It doesn't shoot as good as Wonka, no. But the theme integration is what puts it over the top. The bones are there.
Which
the bones are there for a great game.
Which art's better?
Which animations are better between Woz and Wonka? Are you kidding? Are you really trying to make an argument for Wonka on this one?
Close. Absolutely.
Oh, no. There's no way.
The work that was done. Next time you're playing Wizard of Oz, look at the work that they did to that witch when she comes up. That is the most half-assed work. When you see her face, it's not even. They had to have a body double come in. Talk about assets, Fowler.
I think he knocked it out of the park. There's your favorite term.
They didn't even get the witch. They had to come in and paint some
she
woman's
was dead.
Face green.
She was dead.
So is Gene Wilder, my friend. But they still got Gene Wilder.
Yeah, well,
absolutely. No,
I think that was an attempt to get call-outs and things related to the pinball machine that they couldn't get from a. What are you going to pull from the movie that's going to explain a multi-ball or whatever mode that she's involved in?
My point is, why aren't we complaining about it? We're complaining about Wonka old man call-outs. Why aren't we complaining about Shoddy Witch?
I'm not complaining about it. What I'm saying is there is not enough of this entire package to compel me to be an early adopter. And I will stand by that. That comes down to a subjective opinion by anyone who is going to empty their wallet for something of this magnitude.
Which art's better? Go ahead.
Honestly, if any of these answers were Wonka, I'd be in line still.
You cannot sit here and tell me that Wonka art does not look better than Wizard of Oz.
I honestly don't think so.
Wow. The playfield of the entire red playfield with random lion. What is compelling about that?
Like I said, something about it. It's not there for $9,500. You got to realize too, I got that Waz secondhand, so I'm not paying $9,500 for that.
Point.
So
good point.
I'm just saying, as an early adopter, I'm out. Yeah. I would not be surprised if you get a phone call at Flipping Out Pinball some short time from now, and it'll be me eating crow, and I'll say, ship me one.
You own everything at some point, so do I. So no, and I don't. It's not that I feel this strongly. First off, I love arguing with my buddies. Second, I just want to offer as strong opposing opinion here. There needs to be some opposition here.
I agree. You did a good job. Good discussion. I
enjoyed
it.
It was like a little showdown right there, wasn't it?
It was. We're going to do Name That Pin next. 1 second. That's all you've got. Now, name that pin. Zach is going to hear 1 second sound or music clips from 5 different machines, plus a bonus mega obscure round. He's probably played them, or at least I hope he has. If he gets all 6, the stakes are going to be high. What are we putting on the line here? What would you?
How about a new Willy Wonka pinball machine?
As long as it gets routed to me, I don't mind.
How about this, Fowler?
Yep.
How about how many do I have to get right?
You got to get all 6. So it can be a pretty sizable wager.
Yeah, how about this? How about if I get all 6 correct, then you have to drive to my house and you have to wipe down all of my pinball machines.
That's an acceptable wager given the fact that you will never get all 6. Sure.
Okay, all right, whatever. And then how about this?
Okay.
Koenen was too scared to offer something if he did poorly. If I don't get at least 4 correct, I'm going to do this. I'm going to donate a Stern Pinball Black Knight Sword of Rage banner, those beautiful banners they do. I'm going to donate 1 to you, and I'm going to donate 1 to your listener.
Can I change the clips and make them harder?
That's right. That's right.
I think you'll get it. You'll get it. It's a good wager. That's very fair.
Okay.
Thanks for doing that. Thanks for doing this.
So I have to at least get 4.
If you get 6, I'm in trouble because I'm going to be heading your way. So
yes,
rags in hand.
You have to clean it, but you also have to sing Willy Wonka songs as you're doing it, the call outs and everything.
You got a deal.
Okay.
You got a deal.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so we're going to play the first sound, and Zach's going to give his best guess. So here we go. And one more time.
All right, so I know that one.
Okay.
That was an easy one.
I start them off easy, and they get harder.
Okay, all right. That is going to be Tales of the Arabian Nights.
That is correct. Very good.
Okay.
All right, you're off to a good start.
Heard the genie lamp there.
Yeah, and it's got a very unique sound that's hard to associate with
I love this game, by
else.
the way. Listeners, you guys have to follow at home if you're in your car or whatever. Try to get as many as you can as well.
Exactly. Okay, let's do clip 2. And one more time. Here.
Oh, man. Okay. It's so weird because it
you heard it, you know
this memory.
Yep, and you know it, and you just can't. You scramble trying to come up with the connection. I know that's the tough part.
So this one is a game that I've owned before, I believe, if I'm correct.
You can call in a lifeline, and I will tell you the year that it was made. You have one opportunity to do that in any of these machines. I'm going to add that, by the way.
Very nice. I'm going to one of my favorite activities. You sickos, it's not getting my willy wet. It's Wet Willy. It's rafting. I'm going to go whitewater.
Very good.
Yes, good.
That is correct. Yes. Whew. 2 for 2. He's off to a damn good start.
2 more so I don't have to pay for anything. Okay.
Yeah, and I think you're going to be safe here. I don't use real obscure parts of the songs. I want you to get them. Clip 3. What do you think? And a second time. 1 second, folks. He's trying to decide.
Okay, so this is going to be a little bit tougher. I'm going to go Indianapolis 500, I think.
Wow, that is good. Yes.
Oh, did it? Woo.
3 for 3.
That was a tricky one. That was a trickier one because I've heard similar types of renditions on other games, but I recently owned one, so I picked up on that.
I knew you did. I knew Schmitty had one too, so I figured that would be something in your wheelhouse.
I'm sweating, man. Oh, God. All
right, so next one's kind of on the easy side, then the next 2.
Oh, yeah, you say that so when I botch, I look like an idiot. Thanks.
No, you're fine. All right, so clip number 4. Give it your best, Zach. What you got? And here's the second time.
Oh my gosh.
You should get this.
Yeah, this is, I'm blanking on the name. I'm going to go Riverboat Gambler.
That is incorrect. I'm sorry.
Tell me what it was. What did Cactus Canyon?
The Champion Pub.
Oh, that's why. That's crap, man.
I didn't say they were good.
Freaking novelty machine. I hate that one.
You're going to hate it even more now because it ruined my cleaning opportunity.
God.
All right,
Champion
well, move on.
Pub.
You're still, man. You're 3 of 4. You're doing good. All right, so we're going to move on to clip 5.
Next
Ready?
time I see Champion Pub, I'm going to stick a piece of gum under it on the cabinet. I swear to you, just for that.
All right,
Champion
clip
Pub.
5. Try clip
All right.
5. See what you come up with. And one more time. Like I said, increasingly tougher.
I honestly don't know what this one is. I have no clue.
I wouldn't have gotten it.
I'll go for a lifeline just because, hell, anything can help in this. I don't know.
The Lifeline, the date of manufacture is 1996. The other thing I'm just going to say as a general thing is these are all main themes. I don't get into crazy like multi-ball songs or anything like that. These are the main themes of the song when you start.
96, you say?
96.
No,
yes.
we know it's not Champion Pub. God. I was going to say Who Done It, but I'm not saying that now that you say 96.
That would be wise.
I don't know, man. Let's go Scared Stiff. I have no clue.
Safe Cracker.
Damn it, dude. Safe Cracker. God. The only time I've ever played that was at a show where I can't hear it.
Okay, so I wasn't sure about Safe
Two
Cracker.
novelty machines in a row. Okay.
I thought you would get Champion Pub. I did not think you would get Safe Cracker. I know for a fact you will not get this. I know for a fact. If you do,
the sixth
I tell you what, I will make good on the bet.
Oh.
Because you've done well. You've gotten 3 of 5.
I've done 3.
No, this one is so hard, though. If you get it, I will make good on the bet. So it all comes down, all the wobbles right here.
Champion Pub 2.
Play the bonus. And play through 2. If you would like, the other lifeline we can do is the manufacturer.
Yeah, what's the manufacturer?
Gottlieb.
Let's go Vegas.
That is Cactus Jack.
Cactus Jack, okay.
Yeah.
Was Vegas even made by Gottlieb?
I don't know. I believe so. Off the top of my head. Editor's note, it was, in fact, Gottlieb, 1990.
I owe you a Black Knight banner, and one of your lucky listeners gets a Black Knight Sword of Rage Stern banner.
That is awesome.
That works out for everybody but me.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We got to figure out who how we can get that to someone and how we're going to do that, but we will figure it out. Editor's note number 2, a huge thank you to Zach, who's providing a banner to one of our listeners. To win that banner, it's very simple. Just send us an email at slapsavepinballpodcast@gmail.com with simply your name, and we will draw from that list to win one of these awesome banners. All right, well, we have ran a little long, obviously, and we're going to shut things down. We would like to ask Zach, first of all, what are the best ways to reach you?
You can hear me on This Week in Pinball Podcast and reach me there at thisweekinpinballpodcast@gmail.com. You can reach out and see some of my video work and Greg Bones at Straight Down the Middle, a Pinball Show YouTube series. You can reach out there at sdtmpinball@gmail.com. And if you're looking for a new pinball machine, please give us over at Flippin' Out Pinball a shot. My wife and I would love to earn your business and continued business. But hopefully we have a little bit better way of doing some things, and we're trying to offer entertainment in addition to just selling pinball machines, as well as customer support. So give us a try. Call me at 847-778-4876 for your brand new Willy Wonka pinball machine. Or you can email me at Zach, Z-A-C-H, at flip_n-out-pinball.com. You know what I hear, Fowler? I heard that the next Stern game is crazy awesome.
I'm hearing the same thing. Can't get into too many details, but I think everybody's going to be really happy with it.
I think so too.
All right. Well, we'd like for you to reach out to us via email. We can be reached at slapsavepinballpodcast@gmail.com, and our infamous voicemail hotline is always 314-529-1875. Zach, thanks so much for joining me here. It's really been a blast. I always enjoy talking to you, hanging out. It's been fun.
No, dude, you're one of my best friends for a reason. I want to hear, where's Sammy Pinball's at? Is he like...
He's on hiatus. I don't know. I haven't heard anything from him for a while. So, I don't know.
Francie are hanging out together somewhere, probably.
They're on a beach somewhere sipping Mai Tais.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for having me on, Fowler, and hopefully I didn't anger too many of your listeners by filling in for our boy Koenen, but hopefully Koenen returns soon. I love you all's podcast, and I can't wait to hear the next one.
He'll be back soon. All right. Take care of yourself. Thanks for joining us.
Mylar up!
Later.